when Michael takes off with his friend. They get to be about 35 feet away. And, Darren, of course, protocol is to pursue. So he stands up and yells, freeze. Michael and his friend turn around, and Michael starts taunting him, oh, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to shoot me. And then he said all of a sudden he just started to bum rush him. He just started coming at him full speed. And so he just started shooting, and he just kept coming.
All right, folks, so welcome back. That, of course, the account of a reported friend of the police officer involved in the Michael Brown shooting, and that's her account as told to her by the police officers and his police officer and his family. And that account, it has been confirmed by people close to the investigation, is the account of the police officer. And now we have a report, as I mentioned at the top of the show, from the Gateway Pundit, that the officer, Darren Wilson, suffered an orbital blowout fracture to an eye socket during the Michael Brown attack. A blowout fracture is a fracture of one or more of the bones surrounding the eye, and it's commonly referred to as an orbital floor fracture. Okay, joining us now, once again, I'm happy to say in studio is radio host and author of The Big Black Lie, Kevin Jackson, and host of The Christopher Hahn Show, and former aide to New York Senator Chuck Schumer, Christopher Hahn. And let me start with you, Christopher. This news of the fracture to the eye socket of the police officer, a report from a St. Louis Dispatch reporter that there are 12 witnesses that, she tweeted this out actually, that back up the police officer's side of the story. Where are you on this?
Well, I'm one of those people who believe we shouldn't be rushing to judgment on anything, whether it was the police officer or what the victim did here. I think that we have to see what the facts are, let it play out. I think that there's look, people want to protest because there was an unarmed person killed. I'm all for that, but I think we got to let the facts play out. I don't like what I'm seeing with the violence in the streets. I don't like the looting, but I think we got to let the facts play out. I do believe that the police department in Ferguson handled this poorly, and I think that the state should have stepped in early because they were clearly ill-equipped to deal with this. This became a national story very quickly. They reacted poorly. They were defensive, and the fact that they appeared defensive may have escalated what was already a tense situation there. It could have been handled better, and it could have been diffused more easily than it was.
What about it, Kevin?
Hey, you got facts. He got a, what do they call it? The orbital, whatever. I'm no doctor, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express. He got the crap beat out of him unless he just slipped and fell on Michael Brown's fist. So that is a fact. And the other facts around it, in terms of why they released the tape and the handling by the cops, personally, I think that the cops probably did as well as they could, knowing that there was going to be this racial barrage, because that's exactly what happens every time the dinner bell rings for people to get paid for racism.
Christopher, when they put the state police chief in charge, Ron Johnson, I believe, nothing much changed. It kind of got worse eventually.
Well, it was calm for a night or two, and then it appears that people reacted poorly to the releasing of that game. It was definitely calm for a night or two. The
it was
first
not
night
calm
that
for a
man
night.
Was in charge. He marched with
the first night he was in charge. I'm from St. Louis. I was there. The first night that he was in charge, it went crazy.
Guys, I believe that's the night the cops stood by and in David Dinkins fashion let them vent, and business owners were outraged because their stores were looted.
That's exactly what happened the first night.
That's not how I've read it, but I don't know. Maybe you read the papers.
Well, the good news is I didn't have to read it. I saw it.
All right. Well, so Christopher, when you see this Ron Johnson basically apologizing on behalf of police, being ashamed to wear his uniform, talking about his black son, his black baby that he's going to go home and hug, and we all owe a debt of gratitude to Michael Brown because he's going to make it better for everybody else. Is that appropriate?
Look, I think anything that brings calm is appropriate. I think that the militarization of the police in Ferguson was shocking to most Americans. I'm with Ron Paul on what he said concerning this, and you're rarely going to hear me say I'm with Ron Paul, but Ron Paul was right on the money. I mean, the response was that of something you would expect to see in Iraq or in Afghanistan or another war zone. And I think Ferguson overreacted, and I think the Ferguson Police Department is mostly responsible for the escalation of hostilities in Ferguson. Those people should
the supposed leaders. Are you gonna let me finish? Are you gonna let me?
Christopher, one at a time. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah.
Finish up.
So at the end of the day, when all these people leave that you want to resign, you know what these black folks are going to go back to? They're going to go back to the war zones known as black neighborhoods that these liberals create. And it is a state rep who's black who let it happen. It's black clergy. It's black Ron Johnson. It's all these other people. And there was nothing happening in Ferguson. Cops. Nothing.
Yeah,
you didn't even know where Ferguson was until a week ago.
And shooting them when they put their hands
You didn't know where Ferguson was.
Let Christopher finish. Go ahead, Christopher. What'd you say? White cops beat up black kids? What'd you say?
There was clearly a suspicion of police in Ferguson before this shooting. This is not the first incident of police brutality in Ferguson.
Name it. When was it?
This is not the first time an African-American kid has been stopped unwarrantedly in Ferguson. Ferguson is a community that is almost 70% African-American and has 3 African-Americans on its police force. You know, that in
all right, well, let me ask you about that. Let me ask you, wait. You say Michael Brown was stopped in an unreasonable manner? In other words, the cop had no business stopping him?
I'm not going to judge whatever this cop did right now. I want to see the facts. But I'm sure, look, we know this goes on. We all know this goes on. It needs to stop. Walking while black.
What needs to stop? What are you talking about? What needs to stop?
You don't think that there's racial profiling by police? I think it needs to stop.
They all say he was walking in the middle of the street with his friend, and he was asked to move.
No, wait.
Yeah.
I want to say something about this because we're talking about statistics. A 70% city with 70% blacks, 50 white cops, and you're wondering why white cops are stopping black citizens? Because that's who's there. Unless you believe math is racist.
All right, stay, guys. You'll have the next word. Christopher, we're coming back with part 2. Don't go away. More on the panel. Christopher Hahn and Kevin Jackson on the Steve Malzberg Show. Part 2 of the panel is on deck. Don't miss it.